Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of What's Up with Upchurch. Jessica Upchurch will be sharing best practices on the Educational AD podcast. We'll be back with Coach Upchurch in just a moment, but first, let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Violet Defense for their support of the Educational AD podcast. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school's athletic department, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We've got a Sideline Interactive video scoring table like the one you see now in our gymnasium, and it is fantastic. We use it for home games. We also use it for signing ceremonies and pep rallies. It's tremendously versatile. Remember, contact them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. You won't be disappointed. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. The FIAAA has a Wall of Fame video board for our organization's Hall of Fame, and it is really cool. So please check it out. You know, Wall of Fame by Vital Signs has a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video boards and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started on your own digital Wall of Fame tribute, give them a call at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to elevate the performance of their athletes and their teams using video and analytics. Huddle is the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras, including the Huddle Focus. We've got Huddle Focus in our gym, and it is really a great product. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play. If you're a club or a youth coach, Huddle can help you. Of course, high schools and colleges have been using Huddle for years, and even the professional teams have used Huddle to raise the performance of their teams. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college and university teams that you're trying to get your athletes recruited to. If you want to know more about Huddle and what Huddle can do for you and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director's Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect some comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic department's program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives you access to the 95% of the players and the parents who really love your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your players or parents, you really need to check them out. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank our good friends at Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of What's Up with Upchurch. Jessica Upchurch, certified athletic administrator, is going to be sharing some wisdom with us today. Jessica, what do you got?
Hey, Jake. It is so nice to be here as always. We're going to change tunes a little bit today and save digital ticketing for another episode. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about my experience and knowledge that I've acquired over the last 10 years being in the athletic director role. I remain committed to the profession and take any available opportunity to give back to the space that has really taught me many valuable lessons and has really given me some great insight on just life in general. So in a relatively short period of time, I've had many personal wins, department success, and things to really be proud of. However, along with those peaks came my share of valleys as well. So over the last couple months, being away from sitting in that big chair as an athletic director, I've been able to reflect and jot down some do's and don'ts, just some things to think about as either a new AD or a longtime AD that just need a reminder of some of the things that I did really well and some things I didn't. So one of the first ones that come to mind is the first don't would be to not rush. Just don't rush. Don't be that bull in a china shop type mentality, which I know a lot of athletes have, just get the job done. And there's a sense of maturity that really comes into being able to do that. Like realize, that text message doesn't need an immediate response. That email doesn't need your immediate feedback. Take a second, breathe, and then go on. So that's my first one.
Oh, yeah, you're so right on that. And I think technology in some ways made that particular component more difficult. Back in the day when it was maybe you got a voice message on your phone, and this was not your cell phone, this was your old clunky office phone. You might not get back to it right away, but now on your cell, that email comes through, that text message comes through, and the temptation is to, in many cases, immediately respond to it, because that's kind of how we're wired. We're problem solvers. We're going to get on it. But, you're so right, letting it simmer, reflecting on it, and then making sure the message you want to send out gets sent out. Agree 100% with that. Don't.
Yeah, exactly. You can certainly let your emotion get the best of you when you just react. So again, just let it simmer, take a second. You don't have to be connected, 100% of the time. So number two is don't go alone. You can't, I know the listener, our listeners know you can't do this job yourself. You have to make those alliances. It is not a dictatorship. It is very much a team effort. So making sure that you have that good circle around you and making sure that you're not trying to tackle everything by yourself.
Again, I look back on my career, which is a little bit longer than yours, but it was making those connections with those master athletic directors and coaches along the way that really helped me out. And whether it was words of encouragement or dealing with a challenge, or just sometimes pulling me aside and saying, Jake, you really shouldn't do that, or your coach didn't do that. It just makes makes the job easier. And as you know, the number one tool for success in our athletic director's toolbox book is networking and finding that mentor. So absolutely, great advice. Don't go it alone.
Yeah. I really referred back to your book too, when I was thinking about this too. Again, those tools and those toolboxes, like, they are no joke. Take those into consideration. They help a ton. If you have a great administration or great mentor that is in the building with you, definitely take advantage of that for sure. So number 3 is, don't forget what you love outside of the job. I can't tell you how consuming the job can be. Just like we talked about, you can always be connected if you make it that way. There is always people that need your attention. So again, yes, you have a job to do, you want to do it well, but it's not everything. For me, I was very big into triathlon and being an athlete. So swim, bike, and run, I would do it, in my free time on weekends, and I would compete and things like that. And it really took a backseat to what I was doing as being an athletic director. So making sure that you are still finding time to do the hobbies that you love and making sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, again, I look back over my 41 years, and that's probably one area where I didn't do as good a job as I could have, finding that balance between the job and everything else. So I think I did a better job later on, but great reminder for all of us of, don't forget, what you really love. There's life, and there's also, that job that we have that we do love as athletic directors. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be intentional about it. You really have to make time to say, okay, I have this pile of stuff on my desk, but I'm going to leave it for tomorrow, and I'm going to do this, or I'm going to this yoga class, or I'm going to go ride my bike for a little bit. So those are really, really important things. And, it helps in the longevity of the position. The turnover in athletics and athletic directors specifically is pretty high. So if you can make sure you do those things, I think you can be in it for the long haul.
So great advice from Jessica Upchurch, certified athletic administrator. We're going to be back with some more nuggets of wisdom, but let's take a quick break and hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Athletic Surveys for their support, as they are the named sponsor for the Athletic Director's Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve every aspect of your athletic department. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also gives you access to the 95% of the players and their parents who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to check the pulse of your parents or players, you really need to give these folks a call. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank Huddle for their support of the Educational AD podcast. At Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to elevate the performance of their teams and their athletes using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, including club and youth programs. Of course, the high school and college coaches have been using Huddle for years, and even professional teams are using Huddle to elevate their play. you're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college and university teams that you're trying to get your kids recruited to. If you want to find out more about Huddle and what Huddle can do for you and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Welcome back, everyone, to What's Up with Upchurch. Jessica Upchurch, certified athletic administrator, sharing some wisdom from the athletic director's desk. Jessica, you gave us some don'ts, which were very important. Do you have any do's for athletic directors?
Yes, I certainly do. So the do's, a couple things that I've learned along the way that really resonated me when I'm looking back and reflecting on the job that I did. So the first do, hands down, is hire well. From your office assistant to your athletic trainer, make sure you build your internal team and they're the person that you see fit and can, keep going with you in your vision of your department. So hire well is super important to do that. And I understand that, especially in our case, sometimes coaches aren't that plentiful. Sometimes you're taking whoever hires, who applies first. But really, try to get that right person in and develop them. So I think that would be my first do.
You and I were talking about this, and you're right. It's just so challenging, but it's also so critical to make sure you get someone in there. And it might not be, that NCAA Division I Coach of the Year candidate, but if it's somebody who knows a little bit about the game, has a passion for kids, and it's somebody that you or maybe another coach on your staff can help mentor, that's the kind of person you got to get in there. So important to hire the right coaches.
Yeah, you bring up a great point too, is that great athlete that played Division I going to be the right fit? Are they going to be the coach that you need? And are they the best? Not necessarily great athletes are great coaches too. And we know that. So yeah, I think that's a good point. The second one is do partner with trusted businesses within the space. And I think just from when I started until now, that growth of platforms that can help the athletic director position has grown so much. Again, a shameless plug for Hometown Ticketing. They're amazing when it comes to customer service and things like that. There's another platform I use, Gipper, who helped with social media platforms and things like that. There's just so many things out there. And I would take advantage of meeting those people, meeting those platforms, getting familiar with them at any conference, either, within your state or the national conference. Definitely take time to talk to those vendors and see how they can make your job, our profession easier, because they're certainly out there.
Again, you hit on another key point about the apps themselves and their representatives, and the two companies you mentioned, just fantastic. I've dealt with them directly. Customer service is off the charts. The sponsors of my podcast, I would put in that same category. And then an extension of that, as you know, there's so many athletic directors around the state and even around the country that are using these platforms in unique ways that you really want to reach out and talk to them and let them become a mentor or an assistant coach, if you will, for that particular app. You're right. It kind of goes back to the point don't going it alone. There's so many resources out there that you do need to make work for you.
Yeah, really. There's fantastic stuff out there, stuff that just elevates your program. It takes it from just being okay to college level or professional level programs. It's really, really cool to see that space growing as well. So number 3, I think it speaks to itself, be consistent and follow through. When I was an athletic director, I had that on the side of my screen. It just said follow through on every email, little, kind of rules that I had, don't kind of bend to those. Those are your non-negotiables, and stay consistent with that. I think that just helps, that just helps people look at you like a professional. So yeah, that would be the biggest thing, is be consistent and follow through on what your values are.
Yeah. Well, you're certainly a great example of that. When you and I first met through, the AD Advisory Committee, and then later through the Athletic Director Task Force, I was just so very impressed with, your presence in the meetings, but again, that follow through on, assignments that we may have been given by the FHSAA or another organization. You definitely talk the talk and walk the walk in that category.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Jake. So the next one is, and it's funny because I hate when people tell me to do this, but I have to remind myself to do it, and it's to smile. I caught glimpses of some pictures that were taken, and like there's me in the background, sitting at the scorer's table, which is just like terrible grimace on my face. Like, I don't look like I'm having any fun there. And it really, it's perception. It's perception of what your athletes see, what your parents see, what officials see. So just to remind yourself, like, we have the best job in the world. Like, this is fun and exciting, and just to breathe and just smile. So I think that, that was really important for me to remind myself to do a lot.
Wow, I'm totally shocked. I would never have believed someone would give you that reminder. That's certainly something that I was told, many times. Jake, you don't look you're having any fun out there. And I go, well, I'm dealing with this referee, or I'm dealing with this coach. Why don't take the picture at that moment? But I certainly get it. You're representing the school, you're representing the department, and you got to have that best face on all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And, when someone tells you, you're just like, oh, like, it makes you mad. But then, just looking back at it, it is important. And it is all about, being a role model and what is perceived. So, yeah.
Well, maybe we can continue to remind each other of that. Again, I'm shocked that someone would tell Jessica Upchurch she needs to smile.
Yeah.
Jessica, great stuff as always. Do you have anything more for us?
I do. So that's the end of my list of do's and don'ts. But before we go, I just wanted to have a shameless plug for a new project that I am taking on. It is going to be called ADs in Golf Carts Getting Coffee. And if you guys have ever heard or have seen the Netflix special with Jerry Seinfeld, his series is called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. So it's a little bit of a play on that. And my tagline will be Jessica Upchurch's roving talk show combines coffee, laughs, and epic stories and ideas into quirky caffeine-fueled adventures with the sharpest minds in athletics. So that's a fun little project that I'm going to try to get on site for. So obviously I'm based in Florida, so I'm going to stop there or start there. So, I'll try to get around the country as much as I can.
That's going to be quite a golf cart to get around the country. Is this going to be, podcasts? Is this going to be YouTube? How are people going to be able to look for this when it's ready to go?
Yeah, we're going to start off on YouTube and see where it goes from there. Okay.
Well, very cool. I'm excited to see you and see the guests that you have. Jessica Upchurch. As always, if someone wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. Please do. My email address is jessica.upchurch@hometownticketing.com. You can reach me on any social media platform, LinkedIn, Twitter. And yeah, I would love to chat. We can talk about the do's and don'ts or anything else.
Well, thanks again for sharing. For our listeners, we try to get Jessica on as much as her schedule will allow. It's usually every other Wednesday, but just check out the Educational AD podcast schedule for another episode of What's Up with Upchurch. Also, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are posted on YouTube on the Educational AD podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Hope to see you in Denver at the national conference. Jessica and I will both be there. And once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD. We also want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute, call them at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com.